trips or occasions that we think are at risk? This is a way to think about where sort of different online commerce models compete with different channels of distribution. So along the top, you can start to think about the shopper's mission. And there are many different ways of segmenting trips. But if you think about that sort of stock-up trip or just the unique special event, birthdays, celebrations, that sort of thing, over the last 20 years, the formats that have really won with those trip types have been predominantly supercenters and to a lesser extent supermarkets. And what drove that was the assortment, and secondly, the convenience of having a store within a few miles of my house so that I can get it when I need it. And then when you think about those convenience-oriented trips, those that are really immediate needs or that grocery top-up trip, the formats that have increasingly done well with those are things like convenience and drug, and supermarket obviously has competed pretty well there too. So you can see within the store-based retail landscape, there's some formats that have a really clear alignment with certain trip types. And then when you look towards the bottom of this at the different e-commerce business models, it's clear that there are, again, some very distinct business models targeting shoppers on different trips and different occasions. So there are business models like Amazon Prime and Analyst.com as well that are catering to that stock-up trip. Those are the online business models that are trying to pick off SKU by SKU those 200 items that comprise the average annual household basket. But then on the other side, there are folks like our friends at Peapod and other models that are all about not only that stock-up trip, but more convenient trips. I want it today. I either want to pick it up soon or I want it delivered same day or next day. And that's something that I would argue Amazon is also pushing to with some of their other business models. So what's really important to understand is that in the near term, the real risk is for these broader stock-up trips, but it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to happen one by one. The growth is going to leak out of that center store shopping basket into these new models. But the greater risk, we would argue, is that in some of the urban areas, you know, as Tom and I will debate, maybe the top 30 or 35 urban areas, within 10 years, it's pretty likely that it'll be possible to get same-day delivery of certain online purchases the way you already can with Amazon in 8 metro areas. So that convenience trip, the urgency of that trip, is at risk of substitution from online. Not necessarily today in a meaningful part of the market, but it's not that far off. A really important occasion that we think is really well aligned to online shopping, and that is the gifting occasion. So this is a little distinct from a trip, but it's sort of that special item, sort of occasion-oriented trip. And when you think about what motivates that trip today, it's just incredible how much of it is driven by these new digital technologies. So if you think about things like wish lists, how people today are actually communicating and signaling their demand. What are they interested in buying? You know, wish lists are largely organized online. If you think about Facebook and how people are reminded of birthdays, it's increasingly managed online. If you think about what Amazon and Facebook are doing with reviews, so that you can actually see what your friends have said about something, whether they like it or don't like it, it's increasingly digitally driving the gift choices that people make. If you think about recommendation engines, you know, based on this person's music likes in their Facebook profile, we would suggest you buy them these albums. So now you can actually link somebody's online purchase history, sort of inferred information, to what they've volunteered on a site like Facebook and drive hugely relevant recommendations. Amazon has not implemented this, but they did file a patent that actually will let you tactfully reject certain gifts from people in your social network. You can set some rules there that say, I don't want to receive any gifts from Aunt Edna. She's batting 0. So if she sends something to me, please convert it to one of the items on my wish list, or just convert it to a gift card. So gifting, we think, is one of the occasions that's at huge risk.